Michael Ayoob is from Pittsburgh, and he's written his first novel, and it's a crime story, In Search of Mercy. Michael, tell us about the book. What do you want people to know about the book, not having read it yet?
Well, I guess maybe the first thing is I did not set out to write a mystery.
Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't say I did not. Even though it won this St. Martin's Press Best First Private Eye Novel contest, when I started to write it, I did not sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a mystery, going to write a private eye novel.
What was it supposed to be?
I had no idea. When I sat down to write it, I just knew that I spent many years before this writing a very intimate character drama about a suicidal high school girl. And I spent many years on that, and I didn't want to listen to people telling me, it has no plot. It's very heartfelt, it's very, emotional and sensitive and everything else, but there's no story here. So whenever I sat down to write this, I said, okay, I need a story, I need action. So what better action to start with than the hockey game?
Yeah.
So I write this hockey game, which is the first chapter, and then I think, okay, well, I knew I wanted to write about this goalie, and I write this nightmarish hockey game to start the novel, action everywhere, chaos, everything else. Then I think, okay, that's okay, now I need to tell a story beyond that. And I don't know how I came up with it, but somehow I came up with this mystery for this ex-hockey goalie to get wrapped up in.
So that's the creative process, right? You're inspired by some divine intervention of one sort or another, or am I wrong?
No. It's if by divine sort of intervention you mean nightmares. Yeah, that would be it. Because some of it did stem from nightmares.
So this is an old-fashioned, in many ways, hard-boiled detective story. Is the word detective right?
Oh yeah, and a very definitely. It's a really unconventional one, though, I guess, because what I didn't want to get wrapped up in were the things we've seen a million times.
Yeah.
As much as I love watching the Maltese Falcon or something like that, or even reading Raymond Chandler books, I didn't want to write one. I don't want to try to write one because I think if I were to try to do that, everyone would look at it and say, this guy is trying to be Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett.
Right.
Those things,
Do you think they might do that anyway?
I hope not. They may, just because it's marketed as a private eye book and as a mystery. So people are going to come at it with those ideas.
Yeah.
And you can't help but write a certain kind of dialogue too. A smart alecky, everyone has smart things to say to each other, and
an S word or an F word here and there.
Well, yeah, there's that too. I mean, got to write to the modern audience.
And you also featured Pittsburgh. A lot of people, anybody from Pittsburgh will read the book and recognize a lot of the things you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was important to me. I was happy to do that. I wanted to do that. I didn't want to go, all Ulysses on the audience and, get super obsessive about, every block being exactly like it is in the city, because, the city always changes and everything else. But I think it's a pretty accurate snapshot of the time that it takes place in 2001.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that already is gone.
Yeah, that's right.
That was there in 2001 that I make
the bus station,
reference
for
to.
example.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a loving ode to the Greyhound bus station that is no longer there.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about the prize that you got. You worked for a long time trying to write successfully, trying to get published, and all of a sudden you get this prize. This is great.
Yeah, it is. It is great, but it's right now. It's a really strange thing too, because I just came at it in a really unusual way, winning this contest. Most people, the common knowledge or the conventional wisdom you hear is you have to have an agent.
Right.
So I worked for years sending this book and others off to agents, and didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I thought going to grad school would help with that too, and no, it still took years and years, and I just happened to find out about this contest through luck, basically. I was looking through a grant writer's book.
Mm-hmm.
And at the back of it, they had a reference section to contests writers can enter.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this and said, okay, my book kind of fits that. and send it in. When the prize is your book is published. You get a 1-book contract. So I still don't have an agent. I'm doing a lot of this stuff on my own as far as publicity and as far as working with the publisher.
But you have a published book. It's available in bookstores right now. It's by a Pittsburgher. Michael Chabon comes to mind as a Pittsburgh writer. He wrote Mysteries of Pittsburgh and many other books, and he's been very, very successful. He went to Pitt. You went to CMU and then to Columbia for grad school. Do you look at other writers, and think maybe I might follow the same kind of lines, or how do you look at that situation?
Well, let's see. I guess I don't really do that. I mean, I haven't done that because in my case, it's such an unusual situation, and I feel like I'm in some ways still competing with some of the writers with whom I went to school.
Yeah, right, sure.
So I mean, and I guess the best way I can answer your question is I would be looking at other writers, who I had classes with, and would see their books on the shelf and go, oh man, I got to step it up.
So it's the old-fashioned neighborhood brawl.
Yeah, I guess so.
In a literary way.
Yeah.
Michael Ayoob is from Pittsburgh. You're from Brookline originally, right?
Yes.
Okay, Michael Ayoob is the author of the book In Search of Mercy. It's a mystery. Is that a good description of it? And it's available in bookstores now. Michael, best of luck to you, and thanks a lot for talking with us.
Oh, thank you.